This is for all of you dreamers out there. Sit back, relax, open up your minds, and get ready to feel the vibes.
Good day, all you beautiful dreamers out there. Welcome to Sky's the Limit podcast. How you all doing tonight?
What up?
So, what's going on, Sean? What's going on, Brad? We're going to go ahead and start with our shout outs like always.
Yeah,
So,
who's in
Jamie,
the
what's going on? How you doing tonight? JNS Exotics, James Perry, how you doing tonight? Mike Duvall, Morph Avenue, how you doing tonight?
Oh, it's our boy Mike right there.
All City Serpents, James B. How you doing tonight? Who else do we got in? Let's see. Sean O'Connor, thanks for dropping in. How you doing? We got LMK Ken. How you doing tonight? We got the Herp and Harbins here. How you guys doing tonight? Thanks for dropping in.
Hey, make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe while y'all are dropping in for sure. It helps us out a lot.
Serpents, how you doing? Let's see. We got Chad Johnson. How you doing tonight? We got Will in the building. How you doing? Thanks for dropping in. Dang, hold on. Let's see. We also got Eric Smith. Where you go? Right there, Eric Smith. How you doing tonight? Thanks for dropping in. Is that everybody? Let me make sure. It looks like that is everybody right now. And before we do that, let me go ahead and roll our sponsor video. That way I don't forget to do this one. Are you ready for a podcast that blends mystery, crime, and a whole lot of laughs? Then look no further than The Fat Man Live and Snakes and the Fat Man, the podcast that keeps you on the edge of your seat, all while never taking itself too seriously. Join Chris Heaton as he dives deep into the reptile world with his unique blend of humor, insight, and, well, let's just say colorful commentary. No topic is off limits. The Fat Man himself will bring you the latest from the world of reptiles and downright bizarre, all with his signature humor. So grab your headphones, your sense of humor, and get ready for a ride of your life. It's Fat Man every other Sunday and Snakes and the Fat Man on the 1st and 15th of every month. Only on the Fat Man Nation.
I'm sticking around. Yeah, I'm sticking around even though I don't do this shit anymore. But I love promoting other people.
All right, guys. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring out Austin De Silva from Royal Highness Pythons.
Man, I just got to
What's going on, Austin? Yep. Thank you very much for coming out on the show tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So, Boza. So, Sean, if you want to go ahead with your set of questions, we did come a little bit prepared tonight.
I like that.
For sure. All right. So, again, thank you, Austin. Anyways, so just a little bit about you, man. You've grown in Canada basically your whole life?
Yep, pretty much. So I grew up and live in Toronto.
Okay. And so as a ball python breeder primarily in Canada, how do you see the market evolving in terms of demands for your specific morphs? And which projects are you most excited about to be working with this year and the coming years? I know you've done things like obviously you've got all the monsoon stuff and you hit that monsoon pie this year. So we know you got some really cool stuff on deck.
Yeah. So like the market in Canada, it's pretty good. It's nothing compared to the American market. You guys definitely have probably the best and strongest market in the whole world for ball pythons.
Like, could you kind of explain a little bit like how the differences are?
See, the prices, like even you guys get the best dollar for your snakes. Like you get the most value for your snakes, not just for like the currency exchange rate, but just like for the base gene. Like I can't ask even the same equivalent in Canadian. So if you ask 700 US or something, it's probably not going to be 700 Canadian here. It's going to be a little bit lower. And that's just we have a smaller community population as well. We only have like 40 million people living in Canada. So you guys trump us with like 350 million. So it's a lot more people inside the American hobby. The more people, the higher the demand is, and just the more stable of a market there is.
Well, that actually kind of led into my second question. What are some of your unique challenges that you faced, you being in Canada compared to everybody else, and how do you overcome that?
Well,
Are
like
you shipping to the US, or are you just staying in Canada primarily for now?
I ship to the US and I also ship like to UK, Europe. It's just those are a little bit harder to do, and you can't ship every single animal. So those are gonna have to be more of the higher end animals. Anything under like $1,000, I don't really see just. It's like it's not worth shipping for $350 if the snake's not worth around 1,000 at least.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people hitting me up when I used to have my morph market up, and I had like $200-300 snakes. A lot of people in the States were hitting me up, and I'm like, well, the shipping is going to cost more than the snake. So that's definitely a challenge for us over here.
right. And is there any advice you would give to anybody, like a new young breeder coming in and wanting to establish themselves in the industry, especially when it comes to building like a strong collection and brand?
I definitely think doing their research and really immersing themselves in the hobby, like doing podcasts like you guys are doing, going to reptile shows, and then also acquiring like coming up projects that are hot right now, but that will still be hot in the future, and really building their collection the proper way with like a foundation of recessives, getting the codoms that they like that are also popular, and maybe even dabbling into some stuff that isn't too popular yet to try to go and just get ahead of the next curve and like get on that new trend before anyone else does.
Okay.
And how is it that you pick that out? How are you?
See,
Because sometimes picking out trends can be like gambling, yeah?
yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the best at picking out trends, but I just think that like you could just see where directions are going. Like I think maybe like a year or two ago, people were cluing in that puzzle was really going to start picking up. And like I don't have no puzzle myself. I honestly didn't think that was going to happen, but a lot of people did. Now look where they are with their puzzle game. They don't have too much clown stuff, but they really focused on that puzzle, and now puzzles being more relevant. Now they're really going to go and catch that spotlight a lot more than they would if they were still trying to chase the clowns.
Yeah,
Okay.
fair.
Yeah, like it's could still easily be done with a few genes, like monsoon's one of them. Rainbow. There's a few other recessives too that are like just new and coming, and even some old ones like you have Sentinel or Paint. It's called as well, and those we've had them around for a long time, but no one's really done anything with it. And
Right.
people are doing the right things with it. So those are like floors that you can shine on. I think like the clowns and the pieds, unless you're going to get into double or triple or even quad recessive stuff, it's going to be a lot harder to catch people or even be relevant in that game rather than going to these new recessives which are like untapped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is that all the questions you had, Sean?
Yeah, man. I mean, pretty much nailed everything. Thank you, Austin.
All right. What about you, Brad? You got any questions prepared, right?
Yeah, I got a couple here prepared. The last one, though, That's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Can't
So
wait.
if there was any project that you could work on, money's not a problem at all. What would that project be and why?
Oh, Cosmos. The Cosmos clown stuff that are coming out is just blowing my mind. Price is a little steep right now, I think, for a lot of people. But I think in the next 5, maybe even sooner now, with the way genetic testing has been, and once they start getting shed tests for it, I think the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see them a lot more prevalent, and the prices are going to be a lot more obtainable. Still pretty high, but I think a high price point is where you should invest into a gene. And I think the people who invest are going to do very well with it. And you already see like Justin's coming out with some new Cosmo clowns. There's a lot of other people doing it, and they're insane. Cosmos, like,
Hey, this is my first time hearing that. I'm sorry. Can you explain Cosmo?
Cosmos is like it's kind of like Bambino almost. It looks like it does a lot of like granity type stuff. And like I could do a quick search on my phone and show you guys. It's a really unique gene, and I think that with clown, it has a lot of potential. And here's a pretty, I don't know how well it's going to show up on the screen.
Oh, that's it. It shows up real well.
Yeah, that's a Cosmos clown. And yeah, there's a lot to be done with it. Even just without the clown, it looks really cool. It's a really dark gene, granity, and I think dark genes are really in right now. A lot of people, like, we've been chasing the pastels and those really bright albinos for so long that when we get that nice dark snake now, it's a nice contrast of what we've been doing this whole time. So
Right.
it's really popular. And I think that Cosmos, just with the pattern as well, is just so fitting for the future.
Okay.
Okay. Who was one person that you truly looked up to in the reptile business, and what did that person do that drew you into wanting to be part of the reptile business or the reptile hobby?
So for me, it's probably going to have to be Brian Barszczuk. Like, he really, especially back in the day, like I was watching Brian Barszczuk since like 2012. It's like 12 years ago now, right? And I always wanted to get into snakes. My parents would never let me when I was younger. And then sometimes toward the end of high school is when like I finally just didn't care what they said and started getting into it. And just seeing like his passion for it, and like obviously like you could do it as a job too. It really like propelled me and pushed me to chase my dreams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think a lot of people say the Brian Barszczuk.
Yes.
I first started getting into I've always had a passion, I always found any type of reptile unique and pretty neat. But before I purchased my first ball python or anything, Brian was the guy that I went and watched.
Yeah, he
was an amazing guy. I definitely want to make a trip to his
Reptarium and the
not the Reptarium, the one they're working on right now.
Legacy.
Oh, the aquarium.
The Legacy.
Legacy aquarium.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to see
definitely
that.
want to make a trip that way. And now for my final question. Well, this is going to be a humorous one because, I told Brian there was going to be another question, but he already knows the question.
Yeah.
So I don't know how well you know Mr. Brian there, Sean up here. It's okay if you don't. What is your honest opinion on some of the stuff that you have seen them do?
Oh, they're good guys. I actually looked up at the podcast and the show before coming on, of course, and I see that you're popping a lot more videos out. It's definitely good. I like what Sean's been doing with the Patreon, and just trying to like really build a community, get more people involved. Doesn't matter what level you're at, and you guys you're showing your passion, and I think that's a great thing. A lot more people need to start doing this, putting themselves out there, because I think there's not enough. There's a lot of people doing it, but I think everyone should be doing it. And like, not everyone's going to be giving you the same type of content, and everyone can have their own like little ingredients that make the whole community really nice and just make it all come together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, keep it up, guys. You guys are doing great.
Thank you very much. All right. So with my questions here, my first question is: ever since you've got your own facility and left Billy's facility, I've noticed you haven't been producing a lot of social media content. Is there a reason behind that?
Yes, there is. Well, first, it was just a transition. Like, it was a lot of work getting everything the way it is right now, and like getting my routine kind of. It's still the routine's not really down packed, but I have it in the works. But I'm actually going to be rebranding. I want to go and change my name. I already changed my YouTube to drop the King Austin. I think that was like a mutation creation thing, and I just want to focus on like my company now and towards like the future of what I'm going to be doing. And I think the name change is going to come and pretty soon, and just a whole rebranding of what I have.
You know, if I may, Brian,
Go ahead.
uh, I remember what drew me into Billy initially was listening to whoever the fuck was behind that microphone, talking to him, calling him out when he's like, "There's no pastel in there," and I'm like, "Who is that guy? Who's the guy behind the camera, dude? This guy is color commentary all day."
I appreciate that, man. But I'm definitely going to come back with the social media hard. I'm just trying to go and acquire a certain name for Instagram. It doesn't look like it's going to happen right away. So I'm going to have a variation of the new name that I'm naming my company.
Okay.
And then hopefully Instagram will give me the name after, because there's an inactive account with the name I want to use. And it's just a pain.
Yeah, it is a pain to try to get the ability to use a name that is especially inactive, because now if it was active, or if you can get a hold of the person and ask them to delete that account, it would be a lot easier. But
Yeah.
with an inactive account, it is kind of hard. So with my next question is, what has been the biggest challenge you have faced in your career so far, and how have you overcome it?
So I'd say I've been lucky enough not to have too many challenges so far. I've been like pretty smooth sailing. I think probably losing some animals for some pretty like expensive projects where I invested a lot of money and even years to acquire them. And like, I'm not gonna lie, there was one or two times when I lost some big ticket animals where I wanted to get out of the hobby. And I think a lot of people, when they get out of the hobby, it's more for emotional reasons. And I think the being like
Mm,
almost stoic in a sense, where like I
okay.
try to keep my emotions regulated and
Right.
keep my head in the game focused, because there's a lot of ups and downs in the hobbies. And I think just overcoming it and just sticking out through the bad times and remembering that the good times are going to come back. That's probably the worst things that has happened so far.
All right. And so that kind of leads into my next question is, how do you stay motivated during facing these obstacles?
Okay, yeah. So I think looking at like other people's content they make definitely helps me, gives me more inspiration to get back into it and like try harder, maybe acquire new animals, or maybe even change my idea on that project entirely and maybe try a different approach. But it's not always as easy as like it seems. Like sometimes you lose an animal, or let's
Right.
say like something doesn't go the way you planned, it sets you a couple years back. It could seem like the whole world is ending, or at least your ball python career is ending. And
Right.
learning how to like pivot and maybe get rid of a certain project to go and refund this project to make it stronger, or even just tightening up the collection. There's a lot of things that we have to look at to go and do it, depending on what the situation is. But I, at least when I lost animals, the best thing I've done is purchase a male that was better than the one I made, so that instead of like being behind, now that when I'm producing better stuff, I at least have these really good highs from it, where a good rate of motion is very exciting, and definitely makes you forget about the bad things that happen.
Awesome. Awesome. And how do you maintain a healthy work-life balance, and what strategies do you use to prevent burnout?
I wouldn't say I even practice any really. or I'm even the best at that. Life kind of like hits you sideways sometimes. But for the most part, I try to stay on time. I try to, but it really ends up to me being in the facility till like 3 or 4 a.m. Like falling
Yeah,
asleep on the couch I have it. And yeah, but
because
yeah, you have to
I
hold
know,
yourself accountable, right?
yeah, I know. Billy said that you've been back there at, like you said, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, well, if you're doing that 24/7, because I know you're a dedicated worker, you're very dedicated to this hobby, you're very dedicated to what you do.
Mhm.
So how, do you have a non-work life?
I do, but it gets compromised a lot because of the work. And
Okay,
like I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but like even like today, I told you guys I just came back from I've been fishing all day, ice fishing, and it was nice to get away. But I'm here in the podcast right now. My girlfriend's just around the corner right now, cleaning for me, helping me out, and like I wouldn't like be doing as good as I am without her help too. So
That's a ride or die right there. Is she
yeah,
cleaning tubs?
yeah, she's cleaning some for Silva.
Bet, bro. I got. Hey, is that the one I gave a T-shirt to?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, bet, bet.
shout
I
out to
got some
that.
more new T-shirts coming up, bro.
But yeah, it's even good that my girlfriend helps me, and she's even into the snakes and the whole breeding hobby as well. Because if she wasn't, like my past relationships, it gets hard to like maintain a relationship because how much time and how much energy and emotion the animals do take from you, especially when you have a larger collection. Like I'm
Right.
around 900 snakes, and it takes time for sure. And
Oh
there's
yeah.
even more I could be doing too, right? So like there's always more you could be doing, and there's only 24 hours in a day, so you really gotta try to find that balance.
Right. Now, kind of leading into the next question, and what do you do to unwind and recharge outside of breeding?
um so before I used to just smoke all day, but kind of changed that a bit. I cut back a little bit. um I just started hanging out with friends more. I started playing soccer again, something I used to do when I was younger, just like a
Right.
league, nothing crazy, but
And
definitely
yeah,
definitely
you were
getting.
saying you did ice fishing as well.
Yeah, like fishing, like that's hanging out with my friends, like OBP Morphs. He's a newer breeder, great young guy. He just invited me to go out with him today, and shout out to
That,
Owen. He's a cool guy. And
that's awesome.
yeah.
So, and then I have just two more questions for you, and then we're going to kind of wing it here. But the next question is, how do you want to be remembered when you look back at your career?
Oh geez.
The legacy question.
I haven't really thought about it too much, honestly. I just think like maybe like I just want to like help people. I'm probably going to be remembered for like the IDing skill people say I have. I'm not the best at IDing, but I do have quite a bit of experience. And I'm not 100% perfect with IDing by any means. I'm probably like 80%. But there's
I
certain
see.
things I don't work with that I just don't know. I can't know everything, but like I just maybe for helping people is how I'd like to be remembered. I try helping as many people as I can with the IDing. It's gotten a little bit overwhelming, but I am starting a Patreon soon where I
Right.
will be doing that for Patreon. And like it's gonna be a cheap tier. It's not gonna be like some of those Patreons are charging a lot. But I just want to be there to help people, and just it's a way that I can get more intimate with my followers and really like give them one-on-ones, even videos explaining on how to ID. And I have a lot of really cool ideas. Is I just want people to learn. I love to learn. It's something that I forgot for a while, and ever since the last couple of months of being on my own and like doing stuff, a lot of my spare time has been podcasts, not only snake podcasts, but a lot of other podcasts, trying to learn as much because I think knowledge is power, and just giving as much knowledge to as many people and empowering them is something that I like to do.
Now, do you think you're going to drop that Patreon when you do the rebranding?
Yeah, it's going to be a part of that. It might not be exactly the same month. I'm thinking maybe a month or two after because there's a lot of stuff I want to get situated beforehand so that I'm kind of like open Patreon and ready for everything.
Okay. And now the last question is a little bit more lighthearted and fun. So if you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Oh, 3 people.
We already had dinner, fool.
Wow. Yeah, sure. I think the first one would probably be Elon Musk, just because of his work ethic and how much stuff he accomplishes on such a large scale when there's only 24 hours a day, like what I was saying earlier. Because time management is something I'm not the best with, and I think that it can help me, especially with his just mental focus and the way that he thinks.
100%.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then damn, 2 more. I'm not too sure. I think Elon Musk for sure, but maybe. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I can't, like, off the top of my head, it's just hard for me to come with 2 more.
What
I knew
about
that.
Vince Carter, bro? The truth.
See, I'm not big.
Come on, you're a fucking Toronto guy, right?
Yeah, I'm not much of a basketball guy.
Well,
Did
then
you ever, Austin? Did you ever, Austin, meet Brian Barczyk at all? I mean,
Oh,
would
yeah.
that be somebody maybe?
Yeah, I met Brian Barczyk. I definitely would like to have dinner with. I wish he was still around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did come to mind right now. Like, if we're talking about the reptiles, for reptiles, it'd probably be him or Steve Irwin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
or maybe even both of them. It'd be pretty cool for them to pick each other's mind, right? I think they'd have some
Yeah, right.
lot to learn.
So, is there any projects that you want to share with us or anything?
Yeah, so I'm just working a lot on weird pairings, like a lot of possible heads, especially with shed testing nowadays. I have some pretty powerful like triple het males that are going to other recessives that are they're not het for, just to get those possible hets.
Right.
Yeah, like I just had a clutch. They're 100% het clown, 50% quad head, ultramel hypo, clown, ultramel hypo monsoon pine, and they're 100% a clown. So it's
Dang.
just like if I shed test some of them and I get some even weird triples between them, I'm definitely gonna hold some back.
Of
And the
course.
monsoon, like I don't need the shed test to go and visually see what the heads are. So a lot of weird pairings like that. Even something like a comment my girlfriend made. She's like, "You're not really gonna be making too many visuals this year," and I kind of like switched a few pairings after that, but I think breeding for the future is what's most important.
Of course.
So yeah, like I'm doing a lot of weird stuff. But monsoon pieds, I should be. I have them. I have a male and female both breeding, and that
Okay.
male's going to a bunch of pied het monsoons, double heads,
Nice.
and the female's going to go to something crazy. I
No,
don't know anything yet, so
okay. Yeah, I get that. Are you guys still working the retakes and that? Billy said you were over there just a couple nights ago.
yeah, I was there yesterday. Actually, we did the first pairings yesterday. Actually,
Oh yeah. What are you pairing up on the retakes?
nothing too wild. It was just one of the first ones. It was platinum Annery 62.5% super dwarf to Motley Tiger Annery 62.5% super dwarf. So we're gonna get more 62.5% super dwarfs, and everything should be Annery. And then we got some 3 codoms in the mix. So
Okay.
Now, where do you get your super dwarfs from?
Some of them are from the States. Some of them are from ones we locally sourced here. But in Canada, there's not too many people breeding super dwarfs. There's one big guy in Quebec doing it, and he is Chuck Royal. If you guys ever heard of him, I don't know. A lot of Canadian people have, and he's made some really cool stuff. And we just wanted to get into the game, put some new genetics into it, and yeah, like some of the genes we got from even MJ Exotics or Kurt Chap Talk. We got some pretty cool like marble stuff from him, super dwarfs, and a whole bunch of combos of them.
Okay.
Yeah, really diversified our collection.
Anything you want to show off?
I'm actually not at the retic where I am. They're yeah, you can't have them where I am, but they're at mutation creation right now. So
Right.
I still do some stuff with Billy. I still go over there and ultrasound with him and help him ID stuff. And then we do the retics together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, anything in your racks right now you want to show off?
I could show like one or two. It's gonna be a little hard to show off on the computer screen. And shout out to Husbandry Pro. If you guys
Yep.
are using it, it's amazing software.
Oh,
I used to
yes.
do everything on pen and paper, but ever since I moved to Husbandry Pro, life has been a lot less messy and just a lot easier to find things.
Are they slacking on the back?
I think they're not actually. Are they?
Oh shit, they got something on the back.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mike, what you want to ask them?
Okay, so first off, I'll show you this guys. This is something I'm pretty happy about and excited about. It's a little hard to see, but this is Ultramel Het Monsoon female.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
She's
it's a little hard to tell on the camera, but she's just insane. She has a really wacky pattern, some dark colors to her. You're not really seeing the oranges or the purples right now, but
no.
it's crazy. Like it's just
But that's the good thing about showing it off like this is because it makes people want to go see it in real life.
yeah. And I have no doubt that the actual Monsoon Ultramel is going to be crazy. There's already been a
Oh
couple.
my god, that's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, there's a couple that have been made, but they have lesser or Mojave and special in them, and those genes tend to change stuff and make it not look as bright as it could be. I think there's some better genes to put in there, so I'm working on that, and hopefully this year, fingers crossed, I hit a couple.
So can you enlighten us, Austin? Is Monsoon a codon or is it recessive?
I heard people saying both. Honestly, I think that codom, incomplete dominant, if we were to go and define it, it would mean a trait that you can see.
Because, like, when I used to see you and Billy calling them out,
Yeah,
you'd be like, "Oh, the markers are really strong on this one. Like, it's definitely Het Monsoon." Like, what if those markers were just the base form of Monsoon?
yeah, that's the argument I've been saying for a long time, and that's like incomplete dominant means a gene that inheritable trait that you can see in the single form, and there's a super, right? So that's the incomplete dominant, and then and basically recessive means that in a single form you're unable to see it, and that's definitely not the case. Even like with pieds, if I were just to pull out a pied Het Monsoon right now, you cannot tell me this does not look different than a normal pied. Like, do you see how dark it is? How wacky the pattern is? Just the darkness itself.
Dude, you've been banging out pied monsoons for years, haven't you?
I have a bunch of pied Het Monsoons. Hitting the visuals have been hard for me. This year I hit 4, 2 didn't make it out of the egg. I played with them a little too much, and the egg was a little too excited. I'm not going to be cutting eggs as early on exciting clutches ever again. I learned my mistakes, and
we all learn those.
Yep, I was going to say we all make those mistakes, and this is actually good for these viewers too to see that even the big dogs make these mistakes.
You get too excited, you want to cut that clutch earlier. And you know what the cherry on the cake was, or the pie? The only ones in the clutch that didn't make it both clutch times were the Monsoons. So it's the ones I was taking my fingers in and poking around, trying to see the pattern. And one of them was like a 3 or 4 gene Monsoon, looked like nothing I've ever seen, and like it just really like I have pictures of it after it passed, and I wish I could show people, but there's no point in showing it until I remake it. So I'm doing the same pairing again, and fingers crossed I hit that or something better.
Well, I hope that you hit better. Real quick, Mike has a question in the chat. He asked, of all of the show displays on the market, which one do you think really makes the snakes pop?
See, the ones that I really know are the Next Level and the ARS displays. I had the ARS displays. I like them a lot. But I do believe the Next Level have that LED light strip that you can get in some of them. or you can even just install yourself. But if it does come with the display, just the next level is just next level. There, it has the thermostat in it.
Yeah,
TV. It's just a way easier setup. It has the light. It's just way more easy. If you want something, it's heavy as hell. That's the only downside of it. A lot heavier than ARS, which is already heavy, especially when you have snakes in it. But it's definitely one of the better displays in my opinion. And if I had the choice, like I just got my ARS displays, but if I had a little extra cash lying around, I probably would have got the next level. It's just shipping it over to Canada, paying the duty fees. It's just a lot. So kind of stuck with what we had here.
Right. Wow.
What
So
if you
how was
bought it
that
and I
with
picked it
the,
up here and I was going to Canada anyways? Would it be cheaper?
Yeah, you still gotta declare it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Taxes, man.
Damn.
so how does that work? How does that work for you to get something out of state and get brought into Canada? Is it pretty expensive? Does Canada have a lot more, in a way, tax wise and duties and stuff like that have to be paid than what we really would have to pay?
So it's like a percentage. I think with like snakes, it's not that big of a percentage. It's like a couple, like for like I think the $2,000 snake, it's probably like $300 or $400 in taxes. So it's still like a good amount, but if it's the snake that you need, it's worth it no matter what. So because some of the genes you just can't get in Canada, or like especially newer genes you're importing from Europe or something. Paying that duties, it's a business expense. So
Speaking of Europe, did you go over there to the bunker with Billy?
no, I did not. I wish I did. Jean-Francois is a great guy, and he has a crazy facility. Can't wait till next time I'm in Europe. I'm gonna hit him up and try to get a cool little tour.
Yeah, I heard that it was pretty nice. I seen a couple of little clips from Miguel and Billy that they put out. And yeah. I was hoping that you went over there because I was going to ask you about some of the genes now. You seen that Pixel?
I haven't seen Pixel. I've heard a little bit of it. I think I saw it once on like a picture, but I haven't looked too much into it. And if it's as big as some people are telling me, I can't wait to see what's done with it.
I don't know very much about it either. I've seen a picture of it and I've heard people talk about it as well. And the same with the Epic. Do you know anything about Epic? Is it?
Yeah, so Epic Gene actually started in the States, and started with where Monsoon started from. Actually, it's from Baker Line Specials, and actually the first Het Monsoons that Billy bought were possible epics. Yeah, and, well, it was a crystal possible epic. At the time, we didn't even know what Monsoon was, and it happened to be Het. And it's just a cool gene. It's like an enhancing gene. It does more to like color, not too much to the pattern, but it's definitely like I think there's a super form as well.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, it's pretty cool gene from what I've seen. I haven't seen pictures of Epic for the last 5 or 6 years. So
now, is that something you might get into? Is the Epic or like the Pixel in the future?
I'm not too sure. Like for now, I'm looking to add more recessives than codoms, and I think that should be everyone's main goal. And then at that point, you look at what codoms work good with the recessives you're in, and if not, you have to like hypothesize and like kind of like guess what's gonna these new genes like Pixel would do in the recessives that you're in. So depending on how they look, I'll have to go and see with what I'm working with at the time.
Anybody else got any questions for him?
Well, Will had put in the comments over there. Was Pixel not found by Justin?
I'm not too sure. I haven't heard too much about it. So I just seen that one photo on Instagram. It might have been a Justin photo. I'm not too sure, but it could have been, or it could have just been made popular by Justin. I know he's done that with a few other genes.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And one of them, the person wasn't too happy about it.
Yeah, I heard that. It was around the same time when I was on that podcast with Justin as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I seen that. Yeah, um, but that's neither here nor there. That's been past as far as that goes. When that did come out, I will say I'm glad that Justin did come out and admit what was going on and everything, and did apologize, did a
Oh, yeah,
formal
he's
and
a
everything.
great guy, Justin. Like things happen, people make mistakes, and he rectified that. And he's we've talked a lot since. And he's just a great guy. Definitely.
Right, right. Now, for some of these newer guys in that, how would you go about when you like take your pictures and that, and some of these cameras do that auto color correct,
Yeah, the
and it
high
actually
tones.
looks right. When it looks better in the picture than what it actually does. They'll make the oranges more orange or something. How do you go about correcting that?
So I, at least for my phone, I've noticed that like if I go on another app like Snapchat and then take the photo, it's usually a little bit more color corrected in my opinion. Because sometimes when I go on the regular iPhone app and I just take the camera app and it's too much saturation sometimes. It even
Right,
changes the background color of like the racks or the floor, and it looks like a photo was edited. So I just think using other apps that maybe don't have any filters or automatic filters that probably help you, or even maybe just editing it yourself inside of your phone settings, but editing it to make it look realistic rather than to go and fuel an agenda or make it more yellow, orange, brown, or whatever color you're trying to make it.
right, right. Because I've noticed that when I take my pictures of my snakes, sometimes I can show you, send you pictures where it's both of them are exactly the same snake in the same picture, nothing's changed, but one it looks like it's a sunset pied, but the other one looks like what it is a yellow belly enchi pied, so
Yeah,
it's like both exactly the same, and I was wondering how you go about, fixing that color.
yeah. For that exact thing, I try to take the photo in the exact same distance. And another thing that I've noticed when I'm using just my iPhone is I like to zoom in rather than
Oh,
get closer to the snake, or even just take the
I
picture
do
out a
that one
bit and
too.
then crop it to where I wanted it.
okay.
I see. It seems the closer you get to the snake, the more it affects like the filters and it changes the colors. The further away I am, just the easier it is, and the more realistic it seems.
Okay. And he has a question. What are three strong genes besides Pied and Clown to put into Sunset?
Oh, so Ultramel is going to be the first
Ultra
one.
milk.
I think Ultramel should be put in the sunset before Pied. Clown Sunset's definitely amazing. I love that. I actually just trying to like make some Ultramel Clown on Sunset stuff for the future. I'm doing some split pairings with Nash D Morphs, and I think definitely probably Ultramel and Monsoon would be it. Monsoon, I think like Sunset's not only the color gene, it's more the pattern gene as well. So
Right.
I think that it might affect that Monsoon in a certain way and do some pretty cool stuff to it.
Awesome.
I can't wait to see that.
No, yeah, that would be awesome to see. And that
Yeah.
I'm not a big Sunset pot or fan. That's not my cup of tea. I've made that perfectly clear on many other occasions. But I'm not saying it's not a beautiful animal and that it's just not my color palette.
Exactly. It's not for everything is not for everyone. That's why we got options. And
Yep.
lucky enough, we
Yep.
have genes that you can hate as many as you want, and there's still many more to go and like. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Hundred
Exactly.
percent. 100%. Dude, there was a time where you couldn't give away a red gene, and now everybody wants red gene in their clown. So, I mean, it's going to come in waves, right?
exactly. It happened with spot nose, and look at it's back again. Spot nose clowns are on the decline again. Happened with leopard.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think Brian Barchak himself did it with the Lori gene. Hit that one combination and made Lori gene blow up.
Yep, and then now they're kind of like, oh, it's just a lorry. Looks like a HRA. I don't want it.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right,
there's like phases and fads, right?
right. So what do you think will be the next big thing in coming into 2005
I
or
think
25? I'm sorry.
I think this year,
2005, Brian. That's like 20 years ago, dude. What are you talking
Dude,
about?
what the hell are you pumping on, bro? Give me some of that.
I get that good stuff, man.
I think this year it's really going to be like a lot of the triples and quad recessive stuff that's going to start emerging. But I think the main gene that's going to be put in a lot of doubles and even triple recessive stuff is going to be monsoon. We're testing the waters to see where the limits are to it, how overpowering is the gene. A lot of people are putting it into sunset, like I said. Already people have been doing, but now I think this year we're going to see clown pies, dreamsicles, and then a whole bunch of other doubles and triples with the monsoon in there, and like really pushing the agenda. I think that last year I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than it was. A lot of crazy monsoon stuff has been made and a lot of brand new combos. But I think with this much, with like, at least this many people who are now into the new gene, and there's just a lot more potential for newer stuff to be made. And then plus all the people who have been stockpiling, like myself, and are finally ready to go and make stuff, they're going to be pushing the envelope and really like showing us the potential of monsoon. And I have pretty big hopes for it, but there is other genes too, probably that the paint is coming up a lot as well. And
Right.
even the zebra with that Mackenzie stuff that happened where people say it's like the same as a super Mackenzie.
I don't know. I've been seeing some zebras and that I'm looking at, and it's kind of looking like it's not.
A super Mackenzie. I know it's like a hit or miss, but there's even some zebras that are like lower expressions, and like not all of them look the same. So could be the case, but I even think the zebra has some pretty cool stuff coming its way this year too. It's not going to be for everyone, just like the sunset pies aren't for you, but
Right.
But the people who are, they're gonna really show people, hey, you might have missed something here. Like this is what you can do with it.
Right.
So,
Now,
a question for
I
you
think
there,
I want to get
Austin.
a start throw some ultra melon, guys.
all right, go ahead, Brad.
Well, I was going to go ahead and ask Will's question first, and I was going to ask a question there. But
go ahead.
Will asked, what was the first snake that you wanted to produce?
Oh, that was a blue-eyed leucistic back 11 years ago now. And I hit it the first year. I did a Mojave to a lesser, 8 or 9 eggs. I think I only got one belt.
And what's the first snake that you wanted to produce, Sean?
Me?
Yeah.
What's the first one I wanted to produce?
Yeah. When you
I'm
started
still
breeding.
currently working on that on some hypo clowns.
Okay.
But I've got a line of DG that I want to throw into there, so I'm still working on that.
What about you, Brad?
Oh, there's 2 of them because it's two different species.
Nice.
Like you and Sean know, and Will knows. I got some red stripe het clowns. I do want to try to make a super red stripe clown, and then I also have 2 het scaleless corn snakes. So I do want to. One is a snow. That is the male het scaleless, and then the female is Annery Motley het scaleless. So I do want to try to produce. That's my first 2 clutches. I want to try to produce is the scale, get some scaleless and some super red stripe clowns.
Nice.
Right. Yeah.
Because then, like we have talked, and that's where my question kind of leads over, into your, the question I was going to ask you, Austin, is for somebody starting out, because I'm just starting out. I've not produced anything. If the high end, the $1,000, the $2,000 snakes is just out of the ballpark right now, what is some genes that you see as popular that's more on the lower end, but there's still a good demand for?
Well, so I would answer it a different way. Like I wouldn't even go and look for those genes. I would look at like what genes do you really want to work with? Because if you're gonna go with something just for price right now, you might not be working on a passion project, and you might lose passion and maybe even get out of the hobby. I'd rather you get what you wanted maybe just your approach towards that, like that project would be different. So if you had a lot of money and you're chasing after, let's say, Monsoon, I would say, hey, go buy like a visual Monsoon combo male and go buy some visual females with other genes, so you can make some visuals, or even buy some other recessives you want to tie into it, double recessive heads, and just start pairing away. But if you don't have that money, there's other ways you can get in, especially with a gene like Monsoon, if that's where you want to go. It's like a recessive, right? So you can buy or maybe a clown het Monsoon, breed that to a bunch of stuff, pick out the ones that look het, and you're building the same project. It's going to take you a little more time, but you're still getting to the same result. And there's little ways that you can get there a little faster with how you build your collection. Little tips, and like if you follow Bailey's Patreon, he had a really good lesson on that, like the breeder 1, 2, and 3. So shout out to Billy. And
yeah, I got that when he first came out with it. That was amazing.
Yeah, he highlighted that pretty good. A lot of people have been taking that into accountability, and like doesn't matter how much money you have, there's always a way to get to where you want to be. Just it might take a little longer. And there's other things like I'd buy females first. Like let's say you wanted the Monsoon project, you go buy some really nice combo het females or even double hets at a good price right now. You save up some money. You can get hets, I think females, under $1,000 now, I believe, or around the $1,000 mark. Higher end, but not too high end, where it's like really unattainable.
Right.
Save up, you can definitely get there. It might take a couple months, but then if you build a couple of females and wait till they're almost breeding size, and then go and buy either a het male, or if you saved enough to go buy a visual male, you're gonna exponentially increase your odds, especially with that visual. But even you buy a het, still a 1 in 4 to be getting yourself into a project that costs a lot more than the money that you dished out to get into it.
And the visual male is going to be cheaper than the visual female. Remember that too.
Oh, I think in the Monsoon case, it might be a little more, just because at this point inside of the game, that male will be more versatile, where you can go and pair him to other stuff, make expensive heads, double heads, triple heads. The females might be a little less now, but I still think that investing in combos, multi-gene combos, that with the het, and maybe even getting like a double het male and then shed testing, because you still have that 1 in 4 for that Monsoon, and then your shed test for that additional gene. Let's say like you wanted the Monsoon clowns, you got those het Monsoons and het clowns females that you spent a couple $100 on each, and then you go and get your male, which is going to be either a clown het Monsoon or just like a double het male. Breed that male to those hets, produce clowns, and when the Monsoon test comes out, you shed test those for Monsoon. And if you breed it to the Monsoons, you make some, you shed test those for clowns, which you can currently do. And then exactly like Marcus and Tiffany just said, higher end males, there's more power, and you can really change. My girls are going, yeah, see, David got some pretty cool het Monsoons from Elias, and like, he's doing it right. You got the females, and if he doesn't have a male yet, when the females are almost ready, he's gonna go get his male now, and he's really building his collection, getting those really cool, expensive projects at a discount price, and getting into it at a better price.
Because I have looked at that, getting the het wise, because both of the pairings that I want to do, they're both hets. Both pairings are, none are visuals, but that's just where I'm trying to play with something that, yes, it's been played with, but there's not too much out there on it that's been played with. Because like me and Brian had talked the last podcast, he's like, hey, I look it up on Morph Market. I type in, the gene, and I see how many are out there with that gene in it. So, I mean, is it bad to start, for an instance, with like a super red stripe clown and add more into that?
So the only thing that I might see like proving a challenge with that is that a super red stripe clown, the only way to produce more after you make him is to breed him to other red striped het clowns or red stripe clowns with other genes already stacked into them. So if your end goal was to be like combo super red stripe clowns, I would take my red stripe clown right now, or my red stripe het clown, and breed it to combo het clowns or combo clowns to make to be fueling that project for the future. So you still have your female growing up to make the supers when you do just the plain supers, but you're making red stripe combo clowns now, so that when you do hit that super male, you can plug those up to the females you held back, or maybe even use a stronger male that you made yourself and plug them around. It's like I don't see any problem with the project, just getting there with a super forms with your project, even like freeways. If you want super asphalt clowns or freeway clowns, you have to have a lot of yellow belly clown stuff or asphalt clown stuff growing up, if that's the main project. So you really have to gear your collection and stay focused, stay away from other genes, stay away from stuff that doesn't have red stripe. But sometimes you're going to have to get red stripe into those combos. So like you really got to plan, map out, and see what works best for you, your budget, and your even size of collection, right? Because you can't always have 1,000 snakes.
No. I wish I could have 1,000 snakes. You know, you can keep them all, and that's what kind of going to be one of my hardest problems with my project that I'm working is I'm working the 6 gene or 6 recesses into one, and I call it the perfect storm.
Jeez.
So yeah, and I'm going to try to start with no codoms because I want to try to hit that. My main goal is the 6 recesses, you know. So that's my main goal. But
yeah,
right now I got a lot of stuff growing up, making hets, triple and quad hets for that project. Like
and they all tie in together at the end.
Yeah.
Smart, man.
Like next year I'm going to be pairing my double visual VPI Xanthic Clown to visual lavender het pie girl, hoping for the quad hits, you know.
Nice.
And then
you just shed tested that, yeah.
Right. And then like right now I got black pastel, lesser, OD, Enchi, hypo, het clown boy being paired up to a pastel pie girl, you know, hoping for a triple hets, you know.
Yeah.
Like you said, breeding for the future though.
Yep.
You know, because some of these things that we want to make and that we want to hit, there ain't stuff out there that we can buy to make it. Or say, like you were saying, Austin, is, oh, well, I can go and buy a more powerful male. Sometimes that more powerful male ain't made yet. We got to make it ourselves.
Yeah. So when you're at the forefront of a project like that, it definitely puts you in like a weird position. But like I said, you have to breed for the future, right? So even the work now will pay off in the future, man. Just stick to it. Hopefully you get really good odds with the heads, and I'd love to see what you make with it, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it, of course. And that but with that, we've been on for about an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because I know you're a busy man, Austin, and I greatly appreciate you guys coming on.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. It's a really fun little podcast, man. And like I like what you're doing here. A lot more people have to go and create a voice for themselves. And you have a really good podcast here. You just keep working on it. The chemistry will get better. And I'm for sure like the subscribers will just keep climbing, man.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. That,
I'm going to go ahead and roll our outro. It's not a bad gene. I'll say that. It's not a bad gene. Another thing,
What's up, everybody? This is Big Homie Sean from SJS Exotic.
The mites will not go into that. They won't go into it because it's.
So with that, guys, remember with
hard work,
determination,
positivity,
your dreams too can become a reality.